All right, so ready to dive in. Today we're talking about something I think is super cool, AI music generation. And specifically, we're going to be looking at how to write really effective prompts, like the kind that make AI tools compose the exact music you have in your head. The jumping off point for this deep dive is this really interesting YouTube video about using Music Gen, which is this AI over on Hugging Face. So I'm sure you've seen all the crazy stuff people are doing with AI image generation, right? Like throwing in these wild prompts and getting these totally unique images, like, I don't know, an astronaut riding a unicorn on Mars or whatever. Well, it turns out it's the same kind of deal with music. These AI tools need clear instructions, almost like you're giving a composer a super detailed map of where you want the music to go. And the video really emphasizes how important it is to start with the fundamentals, the core elements. Like when you're building a house, you don't just start slapping on bricks, right? You need a blueprint, that foundation. And it's the same with music, so you got to lay out the genre, the tempo, and the key. The example they use in the video is Korea jazz piece in B flat major at a 120 BPM featuring piano and saxophone. I mean, you could practically hear the music just from that description, right? It evokes this whole late night lounge vibe. And that's the beauty of it. The more specific and detailed your prompt is, the better the AI can understand and translate your vision into actual music. Pretty amazing, right? But hold on, there's more. Because music isn't just about notes on a page, it's about capturing emotion, creating a feeling. So the video talks about how important it is to use descriptive words in your prompts. Like imagine you add the word melancholy to that jazz prompt we just talked about. Suddenly the whole vibe changes. It's still jazz, so that same tempo and key, but now there's this whole other layer of emotion woven into it. It's like, how do you pick the right words to really get those subtle nuances across? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you want a piece that's hopeful but with a touch of longing. Would you use a word like wistful? Or maybe yearning? Or if you want something epic, triumphant, maybe words like soaring or majestic would be more I think that's what makes it so interesting. It's like you're learning a new language, the language of prompting AI to create music that's uniquely yours. But it gets even cooler because the video suggests adding even more layers to your prompts, like incorporating lyrical themes or even drawing inspiration from historical influences. They give this example of requesting South American folk instruments and rhythms that are specifically tied to Brazilian carnival. And I can just imagine how vibrant and energetic a piece like that would be. But what if your prompt is a little too broad? Like, what if the AI gives you a pretty generic soundbite instead of capturing that specific carnival energy? Well, that's where things get even more interesting, because some of these AI tools actually allow for something called negative prompting. It's like you say, okay, I want all of this, but definitely not that. So, for example, you should add something like, avoid using repetitive drum patterns, or the music shouldn't sound too commercial. It's like you're really fine-tuning the AI's creative process. The whole thing makes me think about how much experimentation is involved in any creative process. And I think mastering the art of prompting is no different. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your creative vision meets the AI's ability to understand and translate it into music. So before we wrap up, I've got to ask, what kind of crazy musical mashup would you create? What crazy mix of instruments or genres or moods would you throw at the AI? Would you go for something totally wild like, I don't know, a cyberpunk tango? Or maybe a Baroque hip-hop symphony? The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. So go experiment, see what amazing sonic wonders you can create. So that's it for this deep dive. Catch you next time.